Okay, guys, the one that I figured you would probably have problems with, there's two of them on this chapter. I figured I'd do videos on them. The first one is this one with vectors. There's three vectors, different directions, and it asks what is the addition of all the ones in the x direction, what is the addition of all the ones in the y direction, and then this is what is the magnitude of it, right? And then this is the angle. Okay, so I created one that's similar, kind of wrote it over here. And let's walk through this one and we'll get our answers and yeah, you'll see how to do it. Okay. First thing that you want to do, and you know what, I'll label these. I'll call this one my A, this one B, and this one C, okay? And first thing we want to do is separate all of them into their respective X and Y's. So we'll figure out the X and the Y for each one of them. And if you remember how to do that, it's just using your trig to calculate them, yeah? So remember to get the X values of all of them. First off, you could do it with SOHCAHTOA, yeah? I always just write them as angles that are connected to the x-axis. So like this one would be, instead of being 10, it's really 80, right? Because this makes up 90 degrees. Okay, so if you have them all connected to the horizontal like this, which I believe the ones on the homework, they're all connected to the horizontal, right? You can just use sine is vertical and cosine is horizontal. So I want the horizontal ones, okay? So for the A, the horizontal is a positive 10 because it goes in the positive direction. And there is no Y. It doesn't go up or down in any way, right? It's just moving to the right. Okay, let's do B. Okay, B, the X one, the horizontal one, would be in the negative direction, so I need to put a negative, right? And it's going to be 12 cosine of 30. And then we'll figure out what that is right now. Now, if I want the vertical portion of that one, it's going to be 12 sine of 30. Okay? Now let's do C real quick, and then we'll figure out what all this stuff is. C is this one, and it has an angle of 80. So if you want the horizontal one, it's going to be 5 cosine of 80. Whoops. And then if you want the vertical, and you know this one is in the negative direction, right? It's going to the left, and this one's going down. So the vertical, I'm going to make it a negative as well. 5 sine of 80. Yeah, so remember this one right here, the B in the Y direction, this one is going up, so I count it as a positive. So anything going to the left or going down is a negative. Anything going to the right or going up is a positive. Okay, so let's see what these things come out to. So negative 12 times cosine of, and let me get out of that. 12 times cosine of 30 comes out to be 10.4. Okay, 12 times sine 30 comes out to be 6. Okay, 5 times cosine of 80 comes out to be 0.86. And 5 times sine of 80 comes out to be 4.9. Okay, so let's put our negatives where they belong. This is a negative, this is a negative, that's a positive, that's a negative, right? And that's a positive, and that's a 0. Okay, so if you want to figure out A plus B plus C for the x's, I mean, we're just going to put them together. So the x's, so we got 10, that's a positive 10. The B is going to be this one, and it's going backwards, so minus 10.4. And then the x for this one is minus, because going backwards, 0.86. And so for the x direction, it looks like we got 10 minus 10.4 minus 0.86 comes out to negative 1.26. Okay, and that's the horizontal right one, yeah? Let's do the vertical one in red here. So we'll do A plus B plus C in the y direction, and that'll just be all the y's. So the first one's 0, I don't even need to worry about it. Okay, and then plus 6, and then this one is minus 4.9. And so 6 minus 4.9 is 1.1. Okay, so there is my answer right there. The x and the y is there. Now, if they want to know the magnitude, which is they typically in physics they write the magnitude with those like kind of absolute value signs around it. Remember, magnitude is the square root of the x coordinate squared plus the y coordinate squared. So this would just be the square root of negative, and I don't even need to put the negative because we're squaring it, so we'll get rid of the negative anyways, plus 1.1 squared, and this will come out to 1.26 squared plus 1.1 squared. The magnitude of this one comes out to be 1.67. And then you would have the same units, whatever the units were. In this case, it was newtons. Yeah. And if they want the units on everything, I mean, the units of that one was newtons, so that one was newtons. On this one, I don't even know if they gave units on anything. 3 vectors showing their magnitudes are going no, they didn't even use any units or anything, so you wouldn't be doing that. Okay, the last thing here is the angle. And remember, the angle's using that inverse tangent. Here, I'll do it in green. It's the inverse tangent of y over x, right? Y over x. And so this is going to be inverse tangent of y is the 1.1 over, and that's supposed to be a 1, okay? 1.1 over 1.26. See what that comes out to be. Inverse tangent of 1.1 divided by 1.26 comes out to 41.12. Yeah, and then you would, to determine which direction that was in, because we know that the angle is 41.12, but to figure out the direction, you would want to write these out on your on a coordinate plane, yeah? So I know that in the x direction is negative 1.26, so it goes, here, I'll do it in red. So it goes in this direction. And then in the y direction, it goes up 1.1, right? So it goes like that. So I know that the resultant force is somewhere out like that, and my angle for that, the angle right there from the horizontal, is going to be the 41.12. Yeah. So, and let's see what they're looking for, how to get the angle. Angle with the plus x-axis. So they want the angle from this axis, yeah? Not just the horizontal. So if they want it from the plus x-axis, let's show you how to do that. This is the plus x-axis, right? So if they want that angle here, they're not asking about this 41.12 that we just calculated. They want the angle from here to wherever the line is. So that would be 180 minus 41.12. 180 minus 41.12. And that comes out to 138.8 degrees. Cool. Okay, well, I hope it all made sense. See you later.